Needs to hear this. I'm reading to you now some of the latest from Daily News that was just released not too long ago. You can see this beautiful picture of this, our dear sister, body. Watch this. Pregnant South African woman, 28, found dead, hanging in a tree. A beautiful South African sister's body found dead, hanging in a tree. Again, this is from New York Daily News. It says that the body of a young pregnant South African woman was found Monday hanging in a tree outside of Johannesburg following her disappearance last week. The stabbed body of 28-year-old, and I hope I'm not mispronouncing her name, Tashi Gafatso Pule, was 8 months pregnant, was found Monday in a tree in Rudiport, about 15 miles northwest of Johannesburg. Local newspapers said. About 9 miles from the crime scene, apparently, is where it was, from Meadows Lands. It says, was last seen Thursday night when she told family she went to see her boyfriend who lives in Florida, about 6 miles south in the nearby province of Gauteng. A relative says she was spotted getting into an Uber ordered by the boyfriend. A community member found her hanging from a tree before alerting authorities. My goodness. And they confirmed that she was pregnant. No suspects have been named and an investigation is underway. Family, this we learn in the wake of several Black American men whose body has been recently found. I believe even Brother Phil said one just recently was found in the Houston, Texas area as well. And right now, we find that California is investigating the hangings of 2 Black men. By the way, local law enforcement from some of these bodies that are literally lynched, literally found in trees, you're finding that law enforcement is immediately coming out without even completing investigations saying that there's no foul play and it's a suicide. Well, how can you know that when you haven't even completed your investigation? Please be aware that if law enforcement is saying this, it's very likely that law enforcement is collaborating, because law enforcement is replete, is teaming with members of white supremacist, racist organizations. We know this. Even the FBI has acknowledged that that is a problem. We know that the military has been infiltrated. Some would not even say infiltrated. Some said it's made up of them. Somebody talk Black to me. Listen to this. I'm reading this from VOA News that was just released. It says how officials in 2 Southern California communities are investigating the hanging deaths of 2 African-American men. The body of 24-year-old Robert Fuller was found last week in Palmdale, hanging from a tree near City Hall. They're trying to say that these are suicides. Near City Hall, Black family, our Black brothers are literally going to torture themselves and hang themselves from one of the most symbolic white supremacist forms of murder and terrorism. Late last month, the body of Malcolm Harsh, who was 38, was also found hanging from a tree in Victorville near a homeless campsite. Authorities in both locations, it says, initially suspected the men had committed suicide, but are now reserving final decisions in response to community uproar and pending further investigations. Of course they did, because it's clear that they are complicit and they are covering for these white supremacists. We know there have been stories based on information and belief that some of these law enforcement give white supremacists the heads up. While a lot of these cities in America went up in flames, did you all see that recent footage that came out where a white police officer was found unbeknownst to him, being recorded, telling members of a white supremacist organization where they can
Black man in Houston suburbs of Shady Acres who was allegedly a lynching victim. In fact, a Hispanic adult male whose family said was suicidal, according to local authorities. Bronx native Dominique Alexander was found on June 9th in Manhattan Park, ruled a suicide. Robert Fuller of Palmdale, California, had been the subject of a missing person flyer describing him as having a history of mental illness before his body was discovered June 10th, hanging from a tree. Malcolm Harsh of Victorville, California, was found hung from a tree in his homeless encampment 10 days before Fuller on May 31st. His death was initially reported to police by his girlfriend, who lived with him in a tent. Law enforcement authorities did not recover any evidence of the scene of foul play. T.T. Otis Gully was a black transgender homeless person who was hanging from a tree in a park. He's diagnosed with bipolar and schizophrenia. The suicide rate for transgenders, according to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, is nearly 10 times the national average. More than 40% of transgender men and women in the U.S. have attempted to take their life. Every 11 minutes, somebody dies by suicide in America. 2,421 African Americans died by suicide in 2014. Hangings accounted for 26% of suicides. This lady is the mother of a hoax.
Can hide so that they wouldn't get arrested, and so that they wouldn't be dealing with tear gas or something to that effect, I believe it was. Think about that. A police officer was just recorded giving members of a white supremacist organization the location of where to hide so that they wouldn't be affected by any tear gas and also very likely avoid going to jail. Why are they using specifically murders hanging from a tree? Even though we've been telling you stories on this very network where they have been doing it in recent history, does it seem like the momentum is picking up? Black family, it is written. The prophecy lets us know in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 that the man of sin is being revealed, not the spirit of sin, not the devil that they told you existed that's under the earth in hell is being revealed, but the man of sin. There is a group, there is a people that has been causing all kinds of hell on the earth. Specifically, we know for sure in America for nonstop 465 years, and we know around the world. This same suspect has been masquerading, y'all hear me today, as a man. But the traits of these people has been anything but. It's been anti-human. They have been bloodshedders. They have been liars. They fit the descriptions of John chapter 8 where it says the devil is a liar. They fit the description of this people in John chapter 10 that says that the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. What people fits the description of being a liar and the father?
Shout out to Colin Flaherty.